I'd
Shut
rather
up,
not
Jack.
actually.
Let's go.
I actually rather not. Why would you talk?
Well,
Just say it's weird or it's not, or it's like a weird decision or not.
yeah.
Okay, good.
How about the announcement? Was that weird?
What the fuck is that noise?
Weird decision. Are we tipping our noses? Yeah, we're touching our noses.
My
did we
shit's
do
all
that?
fucked up.
So do we have to turn this off? To turn it
Totally
back on
forgot
again?
how to stream.
Hey, I have the stream on, but there's no audio on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
No,
not
there's audio
even
for
sure
it.
if it works. But I'm
No
tweeting.
audio for the stream. What the hell?
There's definitely audio for me.
I definitely don't have audio. I'll reach
I have
out.
audio too. Because I just fucked it up and had the stream open and it doubled up all this.
Nice.
That was-
I can't tell if this is if this stage is making me feel sick or if I'm still hungover.
Oh, my shit is fucked
You were
up.
super drunk yesterday.
Yeah, you were. You were trying to fight Max.
I don't know what you're talking about. Is the stream still on?
Do you guys have toppings?
No. I
No.
already told you, Red Bull Battle and
Oh.
Tekken Battle.
Oh, this stage sucks.
Are you vomiting too?
I can. I'm not someone that gets motion sickness, but it's distracting as all hell.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Rashid
So
has a new stage in Street Fighter V that causes
Oh.
people to have motion sickness.
Causes
Like-
humans?
Yes.
What the hell? Motion sickness?
People have experienced that sensation from a stage.
So is Capcom all about like tournament banning stages in tournaments now? Like, don't they already have a beach stage that's no good?
All the DLC stages are going to be banned except for the Ring of Destiny.
Is that right?
I don't know.
No.
That's just the way it's going right now.
Weird and retarded. How's it going? It's Big Thursday, and we barely even did this one. I fell asleep in the middle of the day. Rick's does hungover. Rip, you know, the usual. We don't really have toppings. We don't
Nothing
really have
happened.
toppings, but the big one is, you know, the King of the Iron Fist, whatever it's called, the national tournament. The last 2 days have been so grueling. It feels like the last 2 days took a week, but we pulled through. They had the 9 tournament, the Destiny, choose your Destiny towers for the LCQ. And then they had the National the next day, and it was, you know, like I knew it would be, because they always are. It was a treat. You know, we were all there. We're going to go over the experience. Both days, I feel like both things were independent events, because they were at different venues. They were completely different styles of tournaments. I mean, it was like, almost like we went to 2 back-to-back major type of, you know, tournaments. So... Okay, where do we start? I don't even know where we're going to start.
LCQ, first day.
Okay, all right, let's start there. So, for me, I flew in, what was it? Monday night.
Thursday.
Yeah, Monday night. I'm all fucked up. I don't even know
I
what
know.
day it is. Monday night, I flew in. The next day I woke up, we went over there, and it was a real early day. And the vibe of the LCQ room, I didn't really love it because it was this, like, it kind of felt like a salty suite. What they did was they purchased 2 suites and they connected them in some way, and it created this, like, long room where everyone could play each other during the tournaments. So, my initial vibe was, I don't love this venue. I thought the whole thing was going to be at the Ruby Sky. So what are your thoughts on the venue for the LCQ? Go ahead, Rip. You first. I forgot how to do this.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I mean, it wasn't the most prestigious venue, of course. You know, it's just kind of a simple venue to handle it. And I think that for what it was probably worth it, you know, in terms of cost, because it would have cost them a shitload more to hold that many tournaments with that length of time
Yeah, true.
in a venue. So I think that they kind of had to probably, just because of the number of last chance qualifiers that there were.
Personally, I think it was too small for the... I mean, it was too
It ended
hot.
up
They
being
were
too-
over capacity. There was a sign on the wall that said capacity, you know, so...
They actually weren't over capacity.
There
I
was
looked at
two.
that.
There was 2 numbers. One was capacity, and then the other one was like shoulder to shoulder capacity. So it's like, what kind of a fucking capacity is that? So standing room only or whatever. But
You know, you got to kick Ned Flanders out of his bomb shelter.
you sure do. What did you think about the venue?
I knew it was gonna be at the hotel because when I signed up for the tournament, it said,
Yeah.
you know, at the hotel. So I actually wasn't sure where it was gonna be. I actually thought they were gonna have it in like a kind of like a ballroom-ish area. So when I saw that, I was a little bit disappointed. But
Hmm.
the thing is that, you know, they bought another suite as well for the signups, as well as, like, you know, they had a viewing stream, so you could, so
Yeah,
you know, if it got
that
too
was
crazy
tight.
in there, you can go in there in that room, like how you said when you watched
Oh,
yourself.
man. No,
off the
don't
pass.
spoil it. Don't spoil it. I gotta tell that story later.
All right, all
Okay,
right.
go ahead.
But yeah, you know, I thought it was okay. I didn't have
Yeah, I didn't.
too much of an issue with it.
I kind of, I'm on the same boat. Like, I thought it was gonna be like a ballroom or something a little more prestigious, but it was like, whatever. Let's work with it. It ended up being the craziest day of tournaments I've ever experienced in my entire life. 9 tournaments. They were just, at first it was fun, and there was a lot of trash talk, and we were like, oh, you didn't make it, whatever. But as it got to 3, 4, 5, and people started to not make it, and the worry started to set in, like, dude, I flew out here. I already spent the last 6 hours playing in tournaments. I don't know if I'm going to make it. People's faces started changing, and, you know, it just became real serious. Not only serious in terms of the competition, but, like, it wasn't the kind of vibe anymore where you could just start really laughing at people for losing, right? You could at first. It was funny at first, but
Because they had
eventually
multiple opportunities.
it became it became
then it got
serious
real.
when they ran out of opportunities. Yeah. So, what did you guys think about that? Ricksta, you qualified in what, the 3rd one, 4th one?
5th one, I think.
Oh, you got in the 5th one, which is, like I said, if you didn't get into the 5th one, you would have been in big trouble, because after that, it was like everyone was really emotional and just trying hard to get in. Rip, you were there for a lot of the day. You did some of the commentary. Tell me what you thought about the LCQs.
Like you mentioned, man, it was a long ass day. I ended up kind of sleeping through the first half of it and just watching it on stream from the hotel room. And then I came down for the second half when people were already kind of really bummed out. So I didn't get to see them all energized. When I got down there, everyone was already beat up and like, oh shit, you know, there's another one coming. So it was interesting. I mean, obviously it was a lot of fun. And I felt as the day went on, you know, players got more and more serious. Like, I think earlier they were probably like, we got plenty of opportunities, whatever, you know. But when it was getting later throughout the day, it just became more and more apparent that they were running out of time to win. So everyone was getting super stressed out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it was, like I said, you know me, I like to have fun and joke and stuff, but it wasn't even like a joking environment after a certain point. It was just like, let's watch the matches, let's appreciate the emotional roller coaster, and just like end it at that, you know? I couldn't even make eye contact with the people that didn't win at the end. Like, when Kenji didn't make it in, when Reno didn't make it in, these guys, like, you know, I wanted
Weapon
them
X.
to make it in. Onijin, these are all players that have, Weapon X. These are all players that, like, for lack of a better word, they deserve it, right? They've been with the game so long. They've traveled to a lot of tournaments. They've done well at a lot of tournaments, but for one reason or another, this was not their day. And, you know, when they turned around and shit, it was like, damn, that's rough, you know? It's like, but there were only 9 spots, and there were over 60 people or more, 100 people throughout the day alternating in and out of these tournaments. So 9 spots with 100 people, everyone can't win, unfortunately. So
I brought up a point just after, I don't remember when, but like the last tournament, right, was the grand finals was Spirojin versus Yanflip. And, you know, I was looking at that match, and it was the 9th tournament, the final one. One of those 2 players are gonna make it in, and I was looking at both of them. I'm like, these guys are both like at least physically in shape, right? And so to me, I thought like these guys probably at least, you know, they just had to deal with the endurance of all of it. You know, they were physically, you know, in good, you know, health at least.
Definitely.
So like,
and you know, a funny thing about that is Spirojin told me that the length of the tournament was not an issue for him because he oftentimes plays like 16 hours in a row. So it was like, okay, that's not a problem for him. It's just a matter of performing for that long. But yeah, that was a factor. There were so many like different things about this tournament that you usually don't see. I mean, single elim first of all, and potentially you could be putting yourself, your heart, your everything, your soul through this like tension and stress. When you get to a grand finals, I don't know, there's a lot of people watching, and a lot of the people watching have never even entered a tournament, right? But when you play in a tournament, it puts you through this like, it puts your whole body and mind through this like ringer where, you know, the fight or flight kicked in, the adrenaline kicked in, it died off, then it came back again for the next match, it died off. So it's exhausting. And you do that multiple times a day, and you combine that with the disappointment, the stress involved with losing perhaps to the same guy 4 or 5 times in one day, you know, it really becomes honestly something that I think maybe nobody's has ever experienced before. I've never heard of a tournament like this. So the next thing I want to ask you guys about, I mean, we all know, it's no secret, next year probably some shit's gonna go down again. They've already said next year they're focusing on esports. They really want to make this kind of stuff happen. So if we can learn from this year, moving forward to next year, one thing I want to touch on is how would we change the rules, if we would, right? First of all, in my opinion, I like the idea of the last chance qualifier. I love the gauntlet, but I don't love the reason we had to have it. Like, for example, I don't really exactly love the idea of international players being allowed to enter in a national tournament to take the money, but not the prize. The spot, I should say. It just doesn't make logical sense to me. So that's one thing that personally I wouldn't do again. If you're going to have a national tournament, it should be exclusive to national residents, in my opinion. What do you guys think about that statement, Ricky?
That's, to me, that one's tough just because, I mean, I get the point because obviously the main goal is to make this a national tournament, and the only people that can participate in that are people from North America. But at the same time, it's like these are, you know, the events that the Tekken Tour has been held at has been at, you know, places where a ton of international players go to. So to kind of exclude them from that tournament feels kind of wrong, honestly. Like, I understand that they shouldn't be allowed to, but I don't know. I really don't know what the best answer is because I look at it from like the Capcom Cup point of view.
Yeah.
You know, like everyone's flying from everywhere, but they're fighting for a spot at the finals, like the finals.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, the only way you can do that is like for me to feel okay about it is like kind of have the events kind of be their own standalone events, you know. Not like piggybacking off of a major tournament where a ton of international players might show up.
But, so you mean like the Wizard Worlds?
Yeah, well, I mean, because, you know, technically international players could have gone to Wizard Worlds.
That's what I'm saying. They could have gone to all of them. But you know, the thing that you made me think about is an alternative would be to allow internationals to enter and to allow them to win the spot. That to me seems like a better logical decision than allowing them to enter, allowing them to win the money, but not allowing them to win the spot. That to me makes no sense.
You're saying win the national spot, so that like if JDCR came and won Wizard World Portland, he would be in the King of Iron Fist national North American tournament.
Exactly, because if I were to travel to whatever tournament, Japan, and enter in the Osaka qualifier, I would like to get the spot if I won. So I'm not exactly saying that's what they should do, but I like things to be logically consistent. So if they want internationals to enter, they should give them the spots. If they don't want them to enter, then don't let them enter. But I don't like this half and half where they can enter, they can get the money, but they can't win the spot. And not to mention that causes the spot to get, like, at least give it to the highest placing American, which is what they did to Anakin in the first place. Anakin originally qualified for nationals at final round where he got like 3rd or 4th. So they changed the rule at that point too. So moving forward next year, personally, I would like to just keep it consistent. Whatever they do, keep it consistent. That's what I would like to see.
The other way they can do it then is just forego the whole national aspect of it and just make it one big
don't call
tournament.
it, and I agree. But then, I mean, so you have 2 big tournaments here. You have the North American National, which happened yesterday, and then you have the Global. These are the two like big ones, right? Everything else is a qualifier. Osaka qualifier, European qualifier, everything else is a qualifier to make it to these two events. So you're saying you want these events to be titled something different, like Capcom Cup or something?
Well, what I'm saying is that if you follow the Capcom Cup way, they didn't have a national tournament. They just had a bunch of spots to go to the finals, Capcom Cup.
Yeah.
Everything. So if we just, let's say, forego the whole national aspect of it, and let's say winning SCR allowed you to go to the global, in that regards. And
the problem is there aren't that many spots at the global. Literally 3 for the U.S. So you have to whittle down the champions of the U.S. down to 3, right?
No. Capcom Cup has, 32 spots, right? And, they figure it out via who wins a premier, who wins a regional, all these other things. For us, we don't have to be whittled down to 3. What I'm saying is those 32 spots are open for everybody. It doesn't matter what country you represent. JDCR can come here, take our spot. Everyone can come here.
So you want a point system then?
I'm not saying that. I don't know what I want, to be honest. I'm saying that's the only other alternative. If you want to allow international players to take our spot, then it should always work. I think the whole system should be changed in that regards.
Yeah, I mean, it could work that way too. Go ahead, Rick.
I think the international player thing should stay the same way it was this year, because they have a 2.5-year lead, and if you allow them to come, they will come like they did at MLG, and some Americans will get some spots here and there, but that's basically it, right? For the most part, it'll turn to Asian qualifiers in America, right?
Yeah,
they are
right.
way the fuck ahead. So I think this way to have it, where it's you have the NA final, you can do a Japan final, you can do a Philippines final or Southeast Asia final, whatever. You can do it regionally across the world, put everyone together in a global final. I like that idea better, because then you're at least getting the best of each region, and then there's actually a purpose of having it regionalized, as opposed to just here's 32 random terms across the country where anyone in the world can go to and compete.
So you would rather have them just not be allowed to enter?
No. I think they can enter, but they can't take the spots for the regional tournament. I think it should go to the next placing American. That's my opinion on that.
So do it the way we did it this year, except
at final round.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of like that too, because
I'm not sure what the logic was in changing.
Yeah, great question, and I'm sure there is a good reason. Perhaps because that could end up bringing all these Asians over and then trickling our national spots down to 7th or 8th placers, right?
Right, and I think Capcom Cup did something like that, where it's it'll only trickle down to 4th place or something, right? Yeah. So I think they can do something like that.
Sure.
Where you're not getting the 15th placer, he gets into the NA final. It's I think they can do something like that, and it'll still be pretty decent, I think.
Yeah, I think
the other thing.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I was only going to mention that whatever they do, the whole concept caused ruckus. People didn't love the idea of these spots getting taken away by Punko. And I know a lot of people complained that why was he allowed to enter, and they're complaining to me I killed Marduk in Tekken 7, of course. So it's I can tell the vibe is that people don't love that idea. So what's the solution is basically what I'm thinking. But go ahead, what was your thought?
No, I mean, that was it for the international part of the conversation, I think.
To be honest,
think that it should be the way it was done the final round.
Okay.
I kind of agree with Rip, though. The idea of having these 3 players are from America, these 3 players are from the UK, kind of, I like that idea better for a global tournament, because I mean, when they say that, it's a global tournament, so they need to have people representing these regions. So
it's going to end up being all Koreans, and they travel to every qualifier across the globe, and the global is
exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
So I like that. I don't know what the best answer is. I mean, they could do a point system, right? But the point system, I think, rewards too many people that just
it rewards attendance.
Yeah. So I mean, if that was the case in Reno, Weapon X, Kenji, they would have all qualified. But unfortunately, that just wasn't the case.
Well, I mean, I haven't even begun to think about if attendance should be something that gives you credit, right? Do you get credit for perfect attendance in terms of skill? I don't necessarily think so. Attendance is not a skill.
What if it's top 8 attendance?
Yeah, you have to attend and manage to make some points as well as maybe like get a couple second places or
Yeah,
a second, a third,
if they're
and a
tight
fifth.
with the points, yeah, I could agree with it. But if they're gonna give it out to top 16 at Wizard World or some shit, it's like, I don't know. Once you get into points, you get into math, you get into trouble. I don't know. I don't know if I love it.
At the same time, maybe if you do a point system and it supports attendance, then maybe
That's
you
true.
get higher turnouts.
You're right, and more incentive when, I mean, top 8 already got paid out at all of the qualifiers, but knowing that you're gonna snag a couple of points on top of $100 for 7th place is definitely some incentive. Considering, like you said, at the end of the season, those points you snagged could add up to a spot. But it's funny because we're trying to prevent these spots from like getting taken away, but in the end we really love the last chance qualifier so much. What the hell? Dawson teleport?
What?
Did he do that on purpose?
I'm good.
Weird. Did you have to pick your nose?
I did.
Oh, cool. You got it?
It's out of there.
All right, good shit. Or it's in there. What was I talking about?
I don't know.
Me either. All right. Well, okay, LCQ. Oh, yeah, I was saying how we're complaining about losing the spots, but in the end, we loved the LCQ so much. It was so intense because of all the spots. Also, we can't forget Anakin. He was a big part of it, too. 4 of those spots ended up, being because of him. So, I don't know. I liked it.
4 of those spots are Anakin. 2 of them were speed, or like I think one is speed, and like
speed.
A couple were like Punko. Speed played and won. I think at least one extra. I know that.
I didn't know.
He qualified at 1, and then he definitely ran it back.
Oh,
right.
Shit.
And I think the original concept I think was to have like 3 or 4 anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So
still good.
There's always going to be LCQ.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up having a shitload of
Yeah,
LCQ.
yeah. Which wasn't necessarily a bad thing. It ended up being a lot of fun, though, for the people there. Not only the players, but the staff, the commentators, everyone involved were just like, at the end of the day, it was a crazy, grueling experience. Everyone was really tired. And I feel like it was one of the hardest days I've had as a commentator, but I also feel really like proud of that day because there was so much excitement that came out of that room in one day. And in the end, I mean, when are we ever going to experience that again? Who knows? Maybe never. So it kind of feels like this really hard, challenging project, and it's complete, and you can sit back and really appreciate how it went down. So I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Despite my one complaint of it being really warm and uncomfortable in there because of the venue choice. Other than that, I think it was very, very well done considering. So...
Yeah, the other thing I didn't like about the system this year was the whole you have to give your spot to enter again rule. Just because like I think, as more players are getting sponsored, like it makes no sense for a sponsor to pick you up so that you can win one tournament and never enter again. So like I think it's really strange as a rule actually to disallow players or to de-incentivize players from entering again. You know what I mean?
So what would you... I get your logic. You want the sponsors to want to sponsor their player, right? So that they can get the
more
FaceTime. Yeah, exactly. So the solution. What is your alternative?
I think it's got to be more points-based system.
Or, so you're saying you would want the players to be able to enter again even though they already qualified. So...
And again, give the next spot down or something like that.
Either you'd have to either go next spot down, or you'd have to do a point system. And again, I feel like the point system is hard to do. It's the hardest avenue to take, in my opinion. So
yeah, I mean, I think like with Capcom Cup this year, it is one of the most confusing things to figure out anything about. It's like, is that guy gonna make it in the Capcom Cup? I don't know. He's got
That's what I'm saying.
10,950 global points, but he's got 4,000 regional North American points and 300 European points. It's like,
if this guy doesn't get his visa, then Chris Tatarian somehow makes it in through the Latin America qualifiers. Like, what? What the hell? Why would he go down there?
Hans is doing math 24/7 right now. He's doing the math as we speak.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I was at Red Bull Battlegrounds and I was trying to figure out how these top 16 players were there, right? Like how they got their invited spots.
Yeah.
And like I was like, how did this guy get in? And it's like, oh, some guy couldn't make it, so they went to the next person down in points. And Sajam's explained to me where these guys qualified and how they got in, and he's getting confused. I'm like, dude, if you're getting confused, no one understands the system.
Yeah.
Like, because he does his homework and everything. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
this is crazy. So I mean, I hope it doesn't get that convoluted, but I do like the idea of people being able to enter again. And then giving a spot the next one down up to about like top 4 or something, and then do point system the rest of the way so that the rest of people can be qualified in and still leave some spots open for LCQs.
I
I think
that's
that's
what I
also I think that's also a good point because then it kind of gives incentive for the player to show up again to another tournament, and it also gives there's a storyline, there's hype behind it.
Yeah.
Then like
Mhm.
what happens if Jimmy had actually gone to more tournaments then
Yeah.
like you wanted to play and and then now you can build a storyline between him and Anakin or him and Speed.
Let's not pretend like this format didn't build storylines. This format hella built storylines too, right? I mean, in fact, when it comes to storylines, I feel like this format is probably the ultimate because in the end, despite getting all those Anakin crushing spots over and over, okay, that's a storyline, but at the end of the year we got this crazy marathon which created storylines in itself, right? So when it comes to storylines, I think that this method really created a lot of drama. This was the most dramatic way to do it. So if that's what they were going for, good shit, they got it. But anyway, so okay, that's the last chance qualifier. That was on Tuesday. We crowned 9 champions that day, which were going to be the attendance for the following day, right? I don't even want to go through everyone who made it in, but what do you guys think of the Ruby Sky venue? I mean, we got there, it was like a nightclub. How can I describe it to you guys? It was kind of like a nightclub or a small concert venue, and it had a 2-tiered setup with a balcony area. Mostly
It reminded me of a theater.
But it didn't have seats. That's why it wasn't a theater.
Right.
They brought the seats in. If those seats weren't in there, it would have been just a dance floor. So
yeah, it's weird.
It was kind of like a concert / nightclub with bars all around and a 2-tier thing. But the way they decorated it with like Tekken stuff everywhere, and there were lights that like the light itself shined Tekken 7 logos everywhere, and also the 2-tiered setup had the commentary booth up in this like bird's nest, bird's eye view thing that was awesome. So everything together made it really stand out as a very like unique tournament, just like the Tekken 6 National, which was held in San Francisco, which was in that boxing ring or whatever. So personally, as far as the venue, I loved it, and which I didn't think I would. It's such a weird venue for a tournament, right? But I loved it. Also, I don't know about downstairs, but in the commentary booth, it was just so sick that it was air conditioned. And at one point, I was like getting mad hype, and I was like, dude, they gotta lower the thermostat in here. And some fucking guy came in and granted my wish. And he just hit that shit and made eye contact. I got you, amigo. And then he left. I loved the venue. It was awesome. What are your thoughts on the Ruby Sky, Ricksta?
I wish I was a commentator, then the AC would have hit my ass. I was sweating the storm up on the stage,
Really?
man. Because it's like you got the machine. First off, the arcade cabinets or whatever, like the PCs they're running on. That shit is hot, right? It always brings up heat. You got a ton of lights on the stage, and I'm someone that I sweat like you.
Me too.
If it's 71 degrees, I'm pouring. So it's like it was rough for me up there, but it's like that's why I just walked around a bit and then I got some fresh air. But that was probably the hardest thing for me as a player. The conditions up there were not ideal for me, but you gotta adapt. So
that's how the LCQ was, in my opinion. I played in I didn't even mention it, but I played in one of the LCQ tournaments in the 6th one, and I ended up making it all the way to grand finals. I told everyone that I would gatekeep, and I really was hesitant to even do it at that point because I could tell how emotional people were getting. But I figured, man, I haven't played all day. I've been commentating all these matches. So I got down and I played some matches. One of the matches that really stood out for me was my match against Locke, because after the match was over, I got up and I walked to the room next door, which was the viewing room, which had like a minute delay. And everyone in that room was watching the match like glued to the screen like, oh, is Eris gonna beat Locke? So I beat Locke. I got up and I went to the next room where everyone was watching. Then they saw me walk in and I sat down and watched with them, watched myself live with them beat Locke. And I had never done that before, so I thought that was a pretty interesting experience. But overall, I love the LCQ idea. I love that I got to play a little bit, but it ended up being a little bootlegged at the end. I had to give my spot to Renzo because I wanted to commentate the next day. And I would do it again that way too. I got to play a little bit. I had fun. I played only players that, I don't get to play usually, which is what I wanted to do. It was cool. It was a really fun experience for me. As far as the second day, we were mentioning it. The matches were... so good. The matches were awesome. We got the format was weird, right? The format was super weird. 4 pools of 5, round robin, and then you go to a 8-man double elim bracket. That's not very common, and it's not bad, right? But one of the things that you can get with this is a tie, and you end up with this crazy tiebreaker. And we were lucky enough to get one tie in one of the pools between MYK, Speed Kicks, and Mr. Naps, which really, the cool thing about this, which a lot of you guys may not have even realized, is this is really a very, very lucky thing that happened to us, because it happened with one of the pools with 3 fantastically entertaining players, and it was like a nice little bonus we got that didn't fuck up the schedule, right? Because if it went on any longer than that, or if we had another tiebreaker in one of the other pools, it would have fucked everything up. So it was perfect. We got all the benefits of the format without any of the cons, like it taking too long or whatever. So I was a little skeptical at first of the format, but in hindsight, it worked out perfectly. Whether it was chance, whether it was, the crack team of oil riggers they have working on the whole production, it ended up working better than you could possibly have wanted it to. So good shit. Hats off to everyone involved. It was a home run event, in my opinion. I can't think of any complaints about day 2. What do you guys think? It was so short, too.
Yeah, it ran surprisingly on schedule.
No, yeah, the schedule ran great. I have heard a lot of complaints, actually, from stream viewers. Because
I heard,
yeah, they ran, all these pools at the same time, and there were round robins, so there were tons of matches that you didn't get to see.
That's not even the complaint that I was talking about. I heard that there were buffering issues a lot of the time.
I didn't even hear about that. No, I was just talking about just presentation-wise, people had no idea what was going on in the pools. Like, even on your main stream, when you're showing a certain pool, you're not keeping track of the score in the pool.
They showed the score.
I felt like they showed it at the end of the pool.
I think they tried to show it between matches when there was downtime. But you know why they didn't show the score? I was going to bring this up. The times that they didn't show the score in between times between matches, what they did was they showed replays of the stuff we didn't see. So it's kind of a trade-off. You're right. There were some instances where they could have gone over what's going on in the pool, but instead of doing that, they showed another match, which I loved. Right. We both know
that was very cool.
Yeah, definitely. We both know as commentators that there's a lot of downtime between matches. So to me, them pulling up an exciting round or a replay between matches is the best thing they could do. But you're right. There could have been more clarity to the stream of how the off-stream matches were going. You're right about that.
Right. And just like in general, because even if you saw a match on stream, say you saw, I don't know, like you saw the Tekken Tim versus Speed Kicks match and it went down to the wire. They showed you that replay, right? And you see Speed Kicks beat him, but it's like, how is Speed Kicks doing in the pool? That's the only match you've seen out of him so far. Yeah. Has he won another one, or is that, Like it means nothing to you to see that he won one match, basically.
Well, you see the scores though. At the end when we show it, you see the scores. But you're right. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's tough. You have so much going on at the same time. For the sake of time, you have to run it all together. So.
I think it's hard for the viewer to follow.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard for a viewer to follow just a regular double elimination bracket, especially when the commentators don't have access to a bracket.
Yeah.
They're like, is this winners, losers? I don't know. What round is this? Who did this guy beat?
I feel like they're doing a lot of that double elim stuff right now, though, and I think a round robin is just significantly harder to do.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about specific to Tekken or anything. I'm just saying those two formats. Round robin is just so much harder to show to a viewer than a double elim.
I agree.
Round robin would be easy to showcase. as if they had enough time to showcase all the matches.
That's
right?
really the thing. The round robin, one of the biggest cons of round robin is time. Because other than that, it's really the best type of tournament. We all know. Basically, let me just point out the difference. The biggest difference to me between a round robin format and not is round robin, you have to play everybody. But a regular bracket, it's more about the luck of the draw where you land on the bracket. You could dodge tons of players in a regular bracket. So ideally, you want to see every match happen, right? As a viewer, you want to see everyone play everyone if you could. But who the fuck has all day to do that, right? So these are the pros and cons, and there's a lot of other things too. Like I mentioned earlier, the rare occasion of a draw and there being a sudden death. The fact that Speed Kicks and Naps had to play each other in a single game, right? Who
and MYK too.
Yeah, no, but there was.
Three.
Oh yeah, they were doing the circle 3-way. Man,
yeah, the Naps got out first.
Yeah, it was such a crazy and lucky treat for us to get that, because the chances are kind of slim, especially between 3 players like that. So really cool. Format turned out good. Second day, it's always really nice to be a part of these types of events because they mean so much to the people that are running them. And, of course, Michael Murray and Harada were there. They didn't announce anything, which I was really hoping for. I wanted a character or something, but it makes me feel like that's only more concrete, like Exhibit A and B towards them fucking announcing something in December, right? Last year they announced Akuma, they announced FR. They gotta drop like 2 characters, minimum. 2 minimum.
Dude? They're not going to announce anything at the Global now. It's going to be sick.
Maybe,
People all expect... I mean, they never announced that they were going to announce anything, so obviously they didn't.
That's true.
Now they still haven't announced that they're going to announce anything at the Global.
And they have a few months after the Global to announce things before it comes out on console as well. So, they have time to announce things, is what I'm saying. It's not like they have to announce it at the Global, but I would imagine they would. Just because last year, I don't know, I've been fucking wrong every time. Who cares?
I feel like we're going to get a release date at the Global.
That's it? I don't even give a shit about that. I want fucking characters or something.
Last year at the Global, we got Akuma. So this year we're gonna get Scar.
Not just Akuma. We got Rage Drives. We got fucking Yellow Life Bars. We got tons of stuff last year at new costumes. That's when they unveiled that.
Yeah, but no one cares about all that compared.
Oh my god, you're so full of shit. We were we dedicated hundreds of episodes complaining about that.
Last year, if they had said, there's no Akuma, but you guys get this release date, people would have been a lot happier, I think.
What?
Yeah.
I don't even understand what you said there. What do you mean, yeah? What do you mean?
Saying, I can repeat myself. I mean, I think last year...
I don't know how hard that was to follow. That was the easiest sentence I've heard.
Last year, if they didn't unveil Akuma, but they gave a release date, people would have been pretty happy?
Yes.
I don't think so. You gotta reveal stuff. Who cares about that?
All right, cool, man. Yeah, let's show us Sagat and no release date. That'll be cool.
I want that. Yeah, I'll take Sagat over no release date.
Make the life bar green or something this time. We'll be more excited. No release date. I'm down.
You'll never get this game.
I'm not excited about a release date.
Yeah.
To me.
And make I don't know. Whatever.
Well,
EX for everyone.
Hopefully we get a release date and we get a couple of characters, but to me, I want characters. I don't care about a release date right now because who gives a fuck? It's like never gonna come out anyway. Release dates are bullshit. So, yeah, I don't know. I want to see characters. I want to see Julia. I want to see Lei. I want to see excitement. A release date won't make me go, oh. I don't know. I'm not down with release dates.
That's you though.
Yeah, it's my fucking mouth. Well, it's my brain.
But you're wrong. But I'm just saying that you're not looking at it from the other people's side where they're not following the Tekken tour. They're not going to every event. They haven't seen the game this much.
What the fuck are you talking about?
When they see a release date,
you've been to events where you've got to play the game where all these other people haven't.
Yeah, so you're not excited for it, but people that don't, I've seen tweets that just like, I don't give a shit about this tournament. Release the game already. When's the date come? That's all they tweet about, and these are just people that aren't interested in the tournament aspect. So those people would way more like they want a release date more than anything.
They should announce that it'll be one more year in arcades. That would be sick.
They should for
One
Aris'
more
case,
year in arcades. That would be
Just
the
to refine the
hypest,
green life bars.
the hypest reveal of all time. A new version.
Yeah.
All right,
That'll be
that
cool.
sounds cool.
That's what Aris is down
As
with.
long as there's characters, I want new characters. I mean,
Let's
release
add-
They
date.
were going to
let's
release it early 2017, but they had to make new characters for Aris, so it'll be cool.
Well, just to please Aris, let them release Roger and Kuma at the global.
Yeah,
No
that
release
sounds
date.
great.
Yeah,
That
That'd make
sounds
me
like a
happy.
great idea.
Yep.
A lot of people are asking in the chat about the crowd volume and was the crowd loud and stuff. The crowd was
Dude,
hella loud.
Hella loud.
But you guys couldn't
My
hear them
voice is
because
fucking-
I was in a balcony. I was in a balcony and my microphone was separated from them. By design, you couldn't hear them intentionally. So, I don't know. A lot of people are complaining about how, they wanted to hear the crowd or whatever, and it's like, I don't really know the logistics. I don't know if that was a conscious decision, but the reason you couldn't hear them is because I was isolated in a separate room from everyone else.
How is that possible though? Like, let's say they put it just like a random mic on top of that disco ball that was floating up in like would
That's
like
what it
wouldn't
is.
wouldn't
what they
that
would
just
do.
capture a lot of the game sound too though? Like, wouldn't there just be like
Yeah,
tons
there's
of
like an echo problem because the commentaries were coming out over it as well. It's the same problem that at Evo, if you don't remember.
yeah, because that was the other thing is that we could hear Aris and Markman the entire time.
No,
So-
remember at Evo when Aris was commentating MKX and people were like, the crowd's going crazy and you heard like nothing? So it's like, it's
yeah,
the
they
same
didn't
exact
have-
problem.
Yeah, they fixed the crowd mics later though, right? For that
I don't
tournament at least.
remember. I don't
They
remember.
did because then you heard Sajam on the Mike Ross
On ESPN,
ESPN.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying, yeah, it's that kind of a problem. It was the same type of problem.
Yeah, it's not easy. Basically, for those of you who are asking about the crowd, it's not easy to give you crowd audio and balance that without getting feedback from everything, especially perhaps in a venue that doesn't have the acoustics for it. It's not like this building was a brand new cutting edge building. This theater or Ruby Sky or whatever the fuck it was looked like it could have been built in the 50s. It was so fucking old, So it was an old venue, and I don't know if that's even possible. But I understand. I mean, after watching some of the replays from the Last Chance qualifiers, part of what made that so sick was people yelling in the back, and you can hear that the energy in the room was clear for the viewer. And I think energy in the room is pretty important for viewers. So,
Oh yeah.
you're right. I also agree crowd noise would be good, but of all the things to complain about, that one I can really understand that it's probably a nightmare. And if you try it and fuck it up, you could ruin your whole thing.
I mean,
Go ahead.
it sounds like the easy fix though is to drop out the commentator audio, right?
But they were really adamant about the people who paid for their seats and stuff to be able to be entertained the whole time with commentary. So it's kind of hard. Right now it seems like the vibe is heading towards if you pay to get in the venue, you pay for spectator pass, they want you to get commentary. That's where it's going. And I think that baseline has been set by Combo Breaker because that's really the first major event where I saw that happen. So I think that's happening. That's the way it's going to be forever. Players are going to have to understand that they will hear the commentators, and everything else you have to consider that too. You probably won't hear the crowd because they can hear the commentators. So I don't know. I mean, it's better that way to me since the spectators are paying good money to watch this. At least give them a reason to do it again next time, right? Give them some fun.
Yeah, I mean, Captain Malmo, this is the same thing I was thinking. It says you don't get commentary at sports events and you still pay for the tickets. It's like you go to UFC, you go to a basketball game, you don't get commentary. You just go there and you watch it.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a fair analogy, I'd say, but it doesn't change the facts of what I said, right? Like, if you're a spectator...
I don't know.
Well, I mean, think about it. Think about you
saying,
as a spectator. You're not going to a basketball game. You're not going to somewhere with cheerleaders or pre-game shows or halftime shows. You're not going somewhere where someone's going to sell you hot dogs in your seat or where there's anything to entertain you. Like, there's nothing to entertain you at a fighting game tournament. Imagine if you were MYK's girlfriend. And MYK's girlfriend told me after the event that she was entertained because of my commentary. You think she would have been if there was no commentary and crowd noise? No. So I think that
I also
it's not
think
a basketball game.
I also think that you would have felt the same way at like maybe a UFC or a basketball game or a baseball game without commentary.
But all I'm telling you is that it's not a basketball game. And when you go to a basketball game, there's a lot there to entertain you outside of commentary. Like they even play music over the thing and get you to cheer defense or whatever. You know, it's like the whole thing is a fucking event. You know,
I'm saying, you know, they could do all these things.
They could, but currently they don't.
And they could bring out like rappers
cheerleaders,
and
yeah, they could.
dudes to like play each other in the game in downtime as halftime shows and stuff. They could do all that.
They could do all that.
They do
I think
that.
I don't know if they do that, Ricky.
They
could do that.
Have you ever been to a basketball game before?
I don't know, man.
Jesus. Well, but the thing, I agree with Aristotle for that regard, just because this whole aspect of this like kind of esports FGC thing, it's still growing, you know. So we're testing new things and everything like that. So, like at first, I didn't like the commentary thing because you know I'm coming from like your background, what you're saying, you know, UFC or basketball games or baseball games, you're not getting commentary, but I think it's different now. I think for us, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. It's
because
it seems right
tradition.
Now.
Baseball, they've been around for so long that there is a tradition behind it. Everyone knows what a wave is. When the wave comes your way, you stand up and you do it. I mean, it's like it's very much based on tradition. And if you look at esports and stuff, that's also based on tradition. You see people in the crowd doing Vape Nation and shit, right? Are you gonna see that? Like, it's very based on where it came from. Twitch is helping it grow, the chat, the memes. Everyone's from this same community. And the tradition is building, right? We're creating it as time goes on. It's really new. So maybe you're right. In the future, maybe they will have things to entertain you as a spectator. But right now, there ain't shit to entertain you unless you're at a tournament like Combo Breaker or something like that, where they have like arcade cabs and stuff. But even still, you know, there's not much to entertain you unless they put the commentators over the house.
I agree.
Yeah, so it's basically, that's the way it's going, it seems.
Yeah, I just trying to say that. I mean, the whole reason we're talking about this is because people can't hear the crowd, and the crowd is a big part of the presentation at home anyway. So you're hurting the presentation at home where everyone's coming from.
Yeah, there isn't that many people in the crowd compared to the people at home. But the people at home also aren't paying to be there or see it. But the people in the crowd did. And if those people in the crowd didn't pay to be there, the tournament wouldn't have even happened. So who are you going to cater to? The guys online that want to hear the crowd, or the people there that paid money and want to hear the commentary?
I don't care anymore. It's too confusing for me. It's too hard.
You're not qualified, obviously.
I mean, who knows? I mean, like, does Namco care more about the people that are watching on stream that have potential to buy the game?
The 10,000 people watching it, or
yeah, but
live.
Basically, what you're saying is, do they care about those people? And if the answer is yes, they'll let them listen to crowd noise. That's how you're gonna help those people buy the game.
Well, when you show the highlight back to everyone, which is going to be like hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube or something, you know, like, and there's no crowd noise because like, the grand final, no one seems to care about this game.
There was no crowd noise even when they showed the players and stuff, huh? Like, you couldn't even hear any crowd.
That's what everyone's saying, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I haven't watched the stream, obviously, I was there.
It's surprising to me that you couldn't hear any crowd at all, because I could hear the crowd. They were loud. Exactly. I could hear people saying, "You got this, Naps," and stuff like that. So, and I had headphones on. So I think that if I can hear something, it's being picked up in my mic, right? I mean, if you have headphones on, when you're doing commentary usually, and you have the headphones on, the only way you can hear yourself is because you're talking into the mic, and you can hear the co-commentator because they're talking into the mic, and all the game audio is going into the mic. If I clap my hands, that'll go into the mic. So if I'm hearing someone say, "You got this, Naps," I would imagine it's going into the mic, but I guess not loud enough for the stream.
Everyone in the chat is saying nope.
Yeah.
They didn't hear shit.
That's
unfortunate too. That's very unfortunate.
Really super loud crowd.
Super loud. I mean, the one thing, you know, like same thing at Evo, right, where you had everyone yelling down at the stage or something, you know, and like all the crowd noise like echoed, like that. It seemed like that venue was made for people yelling at the DJ up there or something.
Yeah, you're right about that. And I think especially the design of Tekken 7 with the slow-mo and the super flashes, crowd noise is pretty important. Yeah, now that I think about it, crowd noise is pretty important. I myself can't help myself from yelling when that happens. I can't help myself.
Dude, then there's a ton of slow mo this tournament.
And
The more I think
everyone,
there's
the whole crowd is going,
Are they
every single
doing
time
it on
too.
purpose? I feel like they're turning up the slow-mo meter. Like Harada's like, oh yeah, this is getting good. Turn it up. More slow-mo. Crank it, you know?
Dude, I swear, like I got to the airport, I landed today, and I was just talking to Chase, like, man, the turn was sick. And the first thing that goes through my mind is like, damn, remember when MYK did the running two and Naps did the low socket kick? And that slow mo is just like stuck in my head. I can't get it out. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was a good one. Your camera's delayed or something. You might have to refresh it.
There you go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. No, I mean every slow mo I saw, not just at the finals too, but last chance qualifier. Every last like slow mo there was just either like heartbreaking,
explosive.
Oh
yeah.
God.
No, I've seen. And I'm sorry. I want to just go back to the last chance qualifier again because I remember I like the emotion on people's faces was crazy during the 8th and 9th tournaments. Like they wanted to win so bad. I've never seen Run It Black grit his teeth so hard in my life.
Yeah, it looked like they were gonna shatter. Yeah, a lot
What
of
about
these...
Tank, man?
Dude, yeah, Tank, for those that don't know, is a very nice guy from SoCal, right? I don't remember who he's playing against, but there was a slow-mo that happened that Tank knew he won. He saw it and he's like, I hit him. I got this. He got up and he just went, like that. He's like, he got really like excited. And I was like, where did that come from? You know, like you could tell like it was stressful for him. It was stressful for everybody.
Yeah,
and that's what made it fun and also kind of sad.
Finely engineered to induce emotion, like draw out emotion from the player. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean the very last one too that was like super crazy was Reno versus Spiro in the last qualifier.
Yeah.
Like Reno had like a 90% lead or something, death fist or whatever happens, and then he runs at him and he does like Reno does like I think like a get up kick and Spiro comes running with a down one, just like slow mo. It's like oh shit.
It's so good every time. It's always like oh shit. And then it ends. And that's how I feel when I'm playing too. The best part of the slow-mo to me is it transcends viewer. So even the player feels that way. As a player, you're like, oh, okay, I got it. Ooh, and I'm alive. You know, like sometimes you don't die. It's crazy.
The camera cut that happened right after the Reno Spear one was on Reno. And he jumped up when the slow-mo hit, and he was the one who lost. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, God. Like,
I'm telling you.
You could tell, like, it made him jump out of his seat from the loss. I was like, fuck.
Yep. The game's good. The game's good.
Yeah.
What was the other slow-mo with it was Tim and Speed kicks, where Tim had that slow-mo, right? And Speed, I think, was going to get hit.
A low kick. Speed did a low kick. And I remember because I yelled at Tim, I was like, you're not going to die. And then, I yelled in slow motion, of course. And then, they didn't die. Tim just goes, jab, 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 jab.
Yeah, because slow-mo, because I think a lot of people might think slow-mo, that's the end of the round, no matter what happens afterwards. But it's not a lot of times. So, I'm surprised whenever I see someone, have composure like Tim and just mash 1-1-1-1 to get the kill.
Yeah, there are some players that are actually really good at that. When the slow-mo happens, they look closer, like what's about to happen. Let me react. But yeah, I think that, talking about the slow-mo, also it's the end of this year's kind of Tekken Tour and stuff. I'm thinking back. There's been a lot of opportunities to commentate the game, and I'm kind of getting to know the game, right, as a commentator a little better. And to me, I feel like this is, at least for a commentator / spectator, the best Tekken ever, and it's by far. Not even close. And I'm going to even say that I think, as far as being a spectator, and let's not, try to ignore the fact that Tekken is not very popular, but just as a fighting game, presented to a crowd, the best presentation for entertainment value of any fighting game I've ever seen. The slow-mo, the fact that it is not predictable what's going to happen by anyone, including the players, the supers, the combination of when Rage activates, what are they going to do with it, as opposed to historically it's like Rage activates and we know what it is, bonus damage or a Rage art. Now these crazy blue fucking things come out and they have options on what to do with them. Akuma has super. There's just so much now that makes it entertaining that I think it's the most entertaining fighting game I've ever seen before. I don't know if it's the best Tekken ever when it comes to gameplay. I don't know if all those things, ignore those. But as a spectator / commentator, this is the best Tekken and potentially the best fighting game I've ever watched. It just, I've never yelled so much when doing commentary. I'm not like a big like screamer and stuff, but this game does it. This game does it for me. I don't know what to tell you. And when I watch it, I can't help but yell. My hand is on my forehead half the time. Almost every final round situation, I can't watch the screen. You know, it's like, it's the best fucking Tekken ever. You know, I gotta say. As far as just for spectating, I don't know if it's the best. It's not even done when it comes to playing it and gameplay, but they really hit a home run. And if next year their plan is esports and shit, all right, it's looking pretty bright, right? If your plan is making this a spectator game, you know, you already got the players, and Street Fighter V is an excellent example of, you don't need the game to be necessarily good. All you need is fucking 100 players to travel across the country and play it at tournaments over and over again. The real important thing is you need viewers. We already have enough players. We need viewers. And the game, I feel like, can get viewers. So, we'll see what happens in the future. But anyway, anything else about the National that I'm forgetting? There's so much, right? I mean, all the people involved and players and all the congratulations and shit, but whatever.
Just on the topic of what you mentioned about how it's such a great spectator game, I wonder how much of that is attributed to just Harada and Michael Murray coming out to EVO and Final Round for the last, 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, they've been coming around for a long time. I know, right? I feel like...
What do you mean? They're spectators, so they're like, okay, we got to make this good.
How do we do this better for spectators?
Fuck exactly. Yeah, dude.
I think that's so cool.
Dude,
that's actually, like... Because they've been coming for so long now, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I think Harada himself told me that he got the idea from being at Final Round. Because at Final Round, the crowd is so hyped, and the end of the match, the great finishes, are always the ones that are the most hype. So he was like, all right, sitting back, he's watching this with his shades on. He's thinking, how do I focus on this part of my game? He has this game, how do I focus on this part? Because this is the part that makes people yell. And, I mean, they really are focusing on it and making everyone yell. So, good shit. Huge high five to those guys, man. They're making
that's
this
that's
awesome.
The one aspect of Tekken 7 that I think is like unanimous in like one of the best aspects of the game that doesn't even affect gameplay all that much. Mm-hmm. Just like, you know, you see people like Clockwork, just like I've never like the slow-mo in Tekken 7 is like one of the best ideas I've ever seen in a fighting game.
They're gonna copy it. It will be copied. It's such a good idea. It's gonna be copied for sure. I mean, and you'll see next year it's gonna get even better. This whole slow-mo thing is gonna, I think, change the future. A lot of games will copy it. I think it's a brilliant idea. And you know, we've talked about it so much. The spectator aspect of this is so important. And that, you know, it's so nice that this slow-mo is not... It does so much for the spectating, but it's not only for the spectating. It also affects the gameplay. When it happens, it's a big deal when it happens to the player too. So, awesome. I love that. Cosplayers, whatnot, and so forth. Anything else?
There was... We got to play the PS4 version.
Oh, yeah. Very important.
We did.
So everyone was fearful that the PS4 version would look shitty because they put out videos, official Namco videos of the PS4 version looking shitty. But we got to play it, and it looks good. In fact, everyone was saying it's hardly different or hardly noticeable between the arcade version. I didn't hear anyone complain at all. And because it's using a single monitor, it loses the arcade version's lag spikes, which are atrocious at times. Atrocious, those lag spikes. So, hip hip hooray. And they were also not PS4 Pros. They were just regular old PS4s. So I think everyone out there can, you know, huge sigh of relief. The game is looking good on PS4. Don't worry about that. And it's only going to look better. It's not even fucking done. You can imagine it's going to be improved, right? So, good shit. Everything's looking good. Coming out of this tournament, coming out of this event, if you would have talked to me last week, I was optimistic, but I was concerned. There are so many things that could go wrong, especially with arcade boards. We've seen them freeze up. We've seen delays. We've seen tournaments run late and stuff. But If you ask me, this couldn't have been more perfect. The LCQ ended up being 16 hours or some shit, but the next day didn't start till like 5 p.m. So everyone, including the players, commentators, and staff, were able to at least get a little bit of rest and start the day a little bit later. It worked out perfect. The event was perfect to me. I mean, there were hiccups here and there, like as you mentioned, crowd noise. I heard Charles say that people were complaining about buffering issues. But overall, to me, it was great. It was really awesome. I loved it, and the matches were great, and the round robins were great. I mean, and Naps barely even made it into the top 8, and he won. He barely made it in. In fact, he started to fuck up at the beginning of the, what do they call it? Sudden death?
Yeah,
During that sudden death,
again.
he fucked up. Oh, your camera's jerked off again, Rip.
It's all right. I'll just leave it
Anyway, so...
that's the funny thing. He lost, I think, 3 games to Mike? And he only beat him 1 game, but that was the 1 game that mattered.
Not good enough? Yeah. Man, that's crazy. And it was awesome. It was awesome. So nice to be a part of it. And the big final, the grand finale is coming up in December, the Global Championship. Mr. Naps, Princess Ling, oh, that was crazy, and Anakin are the 3 qualifiers. Princess Ling making it in by defeating Speed Kicks for the 2nd time, sending him to the gravel after Strong Style. Yeah, this was... There's history there. Probably the most devastating loss in Speed Kicks' career was to Princess Ling, and then P-Ling gets devastating loss number 2. I guess.
And
I'm sure he likes
Japan too.
I'm sure the best feeling he got was after taking off the headphones. He had to hear you bring that up again.
You better believe it. I mean, that's what I'm there for.
Yeah,
so,
rubbing salt in the wounds.
You got to, man. That's why I'm there. You think
rubbing gravel in the wounds?
You think I'm gonna make fun of players like Run It Black and Tekken Tim and everyone else, and I'm not gonna make fun of him? Of course, you got to bring it up. Rip, what happened to your cam?
I'm just taking off the green screen, so they're smooth now. No more bullshit.
Oh, cool. Good shit. Anyway, nice, Sue. Is that what causes the problem?
It's the XSplit. XSplit with Skype is causing problems, I think. So whatever.
Well,
not a problem.
Either way, I really, really enjoyed the tournament, and I was really pleased and honored to be a part of it, and I can't wait to go to Japan. I'm dreading the 12-hour flight. You're going to Japan like in a week, right?
Well, they haven't booked the ticket yet, but I assume I'm leaving in about a week.
Yeah, so
I probably won't be here next week. I don't know.
Is it the Tokyo qualifier you're going for?
Yeah, Tokyo qualifier. I think it's like November 26th or 27th.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Tasty Steve and Mark Man will be there to commentate it.
Yeah, that's really awesome that the NAM Cops are flying out U.S. commentators, because historically Mark Man has had to go over there and commentate for like 20 hours with Jackler, who doesn't even speak English and shit. So it's really awesome. This year is different than last year, and I'm sure next year is going to be even more hardcore when it comes to this stuff. So really great. Another thing I have to say is, outside of the congratulations on Anakin doing really well and making it to Japan, I have to give him credit because he's done commentary with me a few times, and as a person, we're friends and I've hung out with him. He's such a funny guy. He's really got like a great sense of humor that actually is built for commentary, because he can use his experience with the game to make great jokes about the game. And that's really important when it comes to commentary, right? And so I've been telling him, like, dude, when you get on the mic, you're so fucking whack. You got to tell more jokes. I know you know jokes. You're a funny guy. And then as soon as you turn the mic on, you just don't even fucking tell jokes. So this time, during the LCQ, I did some commentary with him, and he turned it up all the way. He really was great. And I think that it's the reason I'm bringing it up is because next year, we only have Tekken's very lucky to have a lot of talented commentators, right, that love it, right? And I think that having people like Anakin and maybe some others kind of refine their style and try to improve will be really good for Tekken as well. We're all like a team in a sense, and we have to make the game look good. So it's our job.
I don't know if you know, but at Wizard World Pittsburgh, since we were all busy, they actually took in Reno Face and Anakin to commentate that event. So yeah, they're definitely getting in there.
Definitely, and it's really important. It's really important. Commentary is a skill, and I like that Anakin is like refining it and taking it seriously, just like he does with this Tekken game. He's taking his Tekken commentary seriously, and that's important for the future. It's important for the future. So awesome, and I wanted to bring that up. Other than that, you said it. Congrats to all the players. The tournament was great. Venue, I loved it. My flights were fucking sweet both ways. I mean, what else can a girl ask for? Oh my God, the zombies walking around in downtown San Francisco. Internet. Downtown San Francisco is like the fucking Walking Dead. I swear these guys... there's homeless people around here too, right? But the homeless people around here, they can speak and they don't drag their limbs around like I'm telling you, these homeless people were aggressive. They didn't speak any language, just made noises at you and shook a cup at you. And it was just crazy. I mean, the Walking Dead jokes were going on all weekend. Here comes a walker, and then they'd come up to us and they'd hassle us and we'd have to dodge them and shit. And after the National, this guy, I forget that damn guy's name, but he was hella drunk and he was causing this crazy scene, right? And me and Anakin were like, oh fuck, this guy was bitten. He's turning. So then we were like, me and Anakin were deciding how we were gonna kill this guy before he turned, right? And just as we were like, all right, you distract him, I'll come up from behind and smack his head, another walker walked up, right? And we were like, oh shit. And then the guy who was drunk went up to the other walker and started defending us against him. So fighting fire with fire. So we had our own zombie defending us against the other zombies.
I'm already bit, dude. I got this.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So we decided to keep him alive as a defensive mechanism to our group for the other walkers that showed up. It was hilarious. The jokes in downtown San Francisco. Oh my God. I was fucking standing outside and a fucking zombie walks up to me. He asks me for money. Then a cop pulls up across the street. The zombie that asked me for money sees the cop, starts yelling some shit at the cop, right? Then the zombie walks towards the cop, pulls out his fucking dick, and starts taking a piss on the street towards the cop. A piss! And the cop doesn't do anything. The cop doesn't even give a fuck about this zombie dick pissing in his direction. And I can't believe it, right? I'm shocked. The zombie pisses and walks off. The cop doesn't do anything, and me and Gamble walk back to the hotel. We're walking back to the hotel, and we run across another cop, where I'm like, I gotta ask this cop. So I go up to the cop, and I'm like, excuse me, officer, I just saw a zombie pull his dick out and piss in the direction of another cop. I saw a zombie piss, and the cop looked at that guy's dick. He made eye contact with that zombie's dick and didn't do anything. Why didn't he do anything? And the cop said, you know what? I'll be honest with you. If that happened to me and I wrote that guy a ticket, that guy would have to touch my pen. So I wouldn't write him a ticket. Are you fucking kidding me? The zombie problem in downtown San Francisco is so bad that zombies are allowed to piss in your direction, and it's so fucking gross that you can't write them a ticket because they're going to touch your pen.
Dude, you might get infected that way.
Dude, I'm telling you, you do not want to catch this virus, whatever it is, because it's just crazy. It's like a epidemic over there. There are zombies. You guys think I'm kidding, but what are we talking? Like, if you walk one block, you're going to run into maybe 10 zombies. Dude, we're talking Raccoon City. 10 zombies in one block.
When Speed Kicks lost to Princess Ling, and he left for a little bit, I was like, well, at least he'll blend right in outside, you know?
He turned him into a fucking walker? Oh. Damn, Speed Kicks is dragging his limb outside and shit? Oh, man, that's crazy.
Dude, I looked out my hotel window, and, I looked down. Right? I'm on the 8th floor. I just looked down, and it's just the alley couldn't have been bigger than this, right? It was so small, and there's just pipes, and I'm just looking down. And I'm like, the only reason why this alley exists is for someone to get murdered. Dude, there's no reason for this alley to even be there.
The hotel that they had me in was so nice. Listen, it was a nice hotel. It was the Hilton in the financial district of downtown San Francisco. You look down from the 8th floor, and it's like Gotham City down there. Just walkers. Oh my God, so funny. Some of the stuff that happened, I wish I could turn it into a story to tell you, but you'd have to have seen it. But there were so many funny jokes with those fucking zombies outside. It was endless entertainment. The best city to hold a tournament in ever. Endless entertainment. And there were fucking prostitutes everywhere, too.
Everywhere.
They were like the female zombies in Resident Evil. They were everywhere. Prostitutes, it was just basically Tekken players, prostitutes, cops, and walkers. Everywhere. Those are the only kind of characters that are in this game. And it was hilarious. Hilarious from beginning to end. So, anyway, good times. I really loved it. I mean, great times, right? I mean, we're going to be talking about this for the rest of time. This was a historic event for a Tekken player, for a Tekken fan, and awesome to be a part of it.
There was that one walker with the mask that kept looking at the windows and then
oh my
scurrying.
God, that guy was crazy.
This is why we shouldn't be in random alleys.
Yeah, we shouldn't. This guy walked up and he had a mask over his face in a way where he couldn't see. It looked like he couldn't see. There, dude. And he was creeping in the creepiest way. It was like he was a Silent Hill character. The way he was moving and the way he like was looking around and what's he doing? And then he looked at us and he kind of bounced, but then he came back and like peeked out and looked at us again. I'm telling you, this was like a fucking video game or something. The Raccoon City. Different types of enemies. He was like a licker, you know? And then we had hunters. We had female zombies. It was crazy. It was crazy. But the thing is, you know, even though maybe it wasn't as safe as perhaps we felt, we had so many people with us. Our group was so big, and we were all like, none of us were scared, right? So all the walkers would just, like, they wouldn't fuck with us too long. And Gamble, you know, he got real aggressive with some of them. Like, nah, really? Get out of here. Don't come this way. Don't come this way.
Oh, shit.
And one of the zombies got mad at him. He was like, I'll come this way if I want to. And he was getting all crazy. I was like, damn. It's gonna
what
go
about
down.
that other walker who told you about his world record?
This fucking zombie kept on calling me Cadillac. He's like, that's my boy Cadillac over there. That's Cadillac. It's a world record. It's a world record. That's my boy Cadillac over there. Cadillac, let me get a couple bucks, will you? I was just like, who the fuck is Cadillac, man? Get out of here. Get out of here. Calling me Cadillac? That's my boy Cadillac. I think you have the wrong guy. Yeah, it was. Cadillac. I'm telling you, you guys. I'm telling you, there was a lot of funny things that happened the last 2 days. There were a lot of funny things. I'm a fan.
If this was in a nice area, it wouldn't have been as funny.
Yeah, I'm a fan of laughing, and I'm a fan of funny things. And there was plenty of those these last 2 days. So, one of my favorite events of all time. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept well, but I wanted to, you know, get everyone together to get this podcast out to you because this was such an important and historic event. And it went so well, and so many people worked really hard to make it happen, including the players, the staff. Everyone had to get together and make this as dope as it was. So, I mean, the dopest. I like huge thanks and like, et cetera, et cetera. You get my sentiment. It was awesome, and I loved it. So, you guys plug your channels. Rip, go ahead.
Twitch.tv/levelupyourgame. I have like a week before I go to Japan, I think. So I'll probably stream Street Fighter, Gears of War, League of Legends, Rocksmith, and Tekken on Mondays.
There you go.
You gonna figure out how to stream from your phone too?
Oh yeah, I don't know,
good
man.
question.
It sounds hard to do. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it is hard to do, but I would like for you to do it just so you could teach me how to do it. So.
I know the only thing I need to know is that you need at least 2 phones or something to.
You don't need 2 phones if you're not playing Pokemon.
No, I know, but don't you need at least something if you wanted to see the chat? You need something else, right?
I don't know what app you use to stream to Twitch, but yeah, maybe if you want to see the chat, you do need 2 phones. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly how it works. That's why I was hoping that Rip would try it out, but I know it's hard. So if you don't do it, whatever. But
yeah, I mean, I was thinking too, like I don't want to hold the phone the whole day, so I have to get like one of those body mounts where it just like sits here and shit or something.
No way. You hold the phone.
Look like Robocop.
Just get a selfie stick and you won't look as weird.
People will vomit if you hold the phone like that.
No, the selfie stick.
It's gonna be like Rashid stage, dude.
No, yeah, just get a selfie stick. You won't look stupid.
Yeah,
you gotta hold it still. I want a selfie stick that you like attach to your body or something. You know what I mean?
Gross.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Okay, Ricksta, plug your channel.
Follow me, Twitter, Twitch at Ricksteezy, Ricksteezy.
3 E's.
Yes, sir.
Follow him up. Bitch Callings.
I got one.
Go ahead.
Actually, it's two. One is I like this guy, Subtle, Steven Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Because he came up to me and he's I haven't seen him in a minute, so he's like, hey, congratulations. He shook my hand and he says, I was rooting so hard against you. And I'm like, what the hell? I was like, what the hell is that? He wanted me to lose so much just because I was playing Akuma. Damn. And I'm like, is our friendship that meaningless? Like,
well, he's a big Akuma hater. I know that.
I know he is, man. Career. So I was like, I was kind of hurt. I was a little bit butthurt about that. But that's whatever. The other one. Yeah, he's a bitch.
Okay.
The other one is whoever was doing the scores for the round robin.
Uh-huh.
Everyone said the graphic says 0. Mm-hmm. That's not true.
You didn't win any, dude. Everyone knows it.
If you would count up the scores, there's one win missing. It's impossible to have that and not have one game. That game was mine. I beat Geesemaster in the last set.
What?
But it was off stream, and both me and Geesemaster knew that match didn't matter. So we were both fucking around. But that's still my win. And I would like to have that. But the graphic said I have 0. So now everyone says I'm 0-4, and I'm like, give me my one win at least. Man, I'm 1-3, dog.
That's crazy. You went 0-4?
0-4, dude.
According to a graphic, yeah. I mean,
it's so whoever 13-0, man. 0-4.
Whoever made that graphic is a bitch, and they took away my win, and I'm really really butthurt about that.
That was Nate Monster. So Nate Monster, you're a bitch. And
Nate,
also
I even told Nate like I beat Geesemaster. I made sure I was like, come on, man, give me this.
He's pissed because he's shorter than you. He's like the only guy. So he's like, fuck this guy, 0-4, eat shit.
Hey, no, you know what? I met that dude. One stock approach.
Yeah, stock approach. He's
short. And so he came up to me. The first thing he said to me was, "You're not as short as I thought you were." And I'm like, "How tall are you?" He's like, "I'm 5'3". And I'm like, duh, I'm not as short as you thought I was. You're the same height.
You're 5'3".
So, yeah.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So only people that are like 5'5" think that I'm hella short.
How tall is Tasty Steve?
5'7", 5'6".
He's like 5'6", I think.
He's short too.
He's hella short.
Yeah.
Everyone's short, man.
Damn.
How tall are you, Eric?
Sorry, I'm 5'10", I think, but I might be shorter.
Double digits? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Anyway, bitch calling. I was pretty surprised at that call.
Oh, let me go first.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna call Magnificent a bitch.
Whoa.
Because first of all, I like the guy, and throughout the Wizard World Tour, I've like given him props for how he's done. Mm-hmm. He's only really been held back by Renekon, but he made a bet with Ricksta online and then never paid him. And then he comes offline and he has a chance to pay him, and he doesn't pay him. So I'm like, what the fuck? And then Ricksta was so damn drunk last night he tried to fight him. It was crazy.
Was that the bet against me versus Joey Fury?
Oh yeah, that's the one.
Oh, and let's flip that wording around. Wait, he tried to fight me, or did I try to fight him?
Well, you were so damn aggressive against him that he was getting ready to fight you.
No way. Okay.
Ricksta was going in on him, like, because when you talk shit to someone,
so did he say he's gonna pay?
No, I don't think he paid. Right? He left.
No, he's not. And at this point, I don't care.
He's not gonna pay.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
What?
Right, but it was hilarious.
I agree with that. You gotta pay if you make a bet and you lose. You gotta pay, especially if you bet against me. You definitely gotta pay. You definitely gotta pay.
When I'm drunk, I'm not aggressive at all. But if I came off aggressive, that's on me, So I apologize for that.
Bitch.
What the fuck?
Go on.
I don't know about that. I don't give a fuck about you fighting him. I'm talking about making bets. The principle of making a bet. Anyway.
It is what it is.
Bitch callings. Yeah, the cop. You can't ignore that. I can't believe he didn't do anything. The guy's fucking dick was pointing in his direction. He was peeing in that direction because he was a cop. He saw the guy and was yelling at him. I couldn't believe that. What kind of cop does that? I mean, get it 2 pens. You got to get 1 pen for walkers and 1 pen for normies. I don't know, but that was crazy. Let me think. Bitch callings. Yeah, that guy that was calling me Cadillac was so annoying. It was so crazy because it's like, dude, obviously this is the wrong guy. I mean, Who do you think I am? You know?
Was that the same guy that was saying your beard must be a world record?
Yeah, that's the same guy. He's like, Cadillac, get over here.
World record?
I don't know what he was saying. He just kept repeating world record, and that's my boy Cadillac. These walkers have some problem with their fucking voice box. They can't even make words come out. That shit was... They really did sound like zombies. Like, they'd come up and be like... And it was like, whoa... Fuck, you know, where's my gun? Shoot this motherfucker, boom.
Yeah, you know, you're kind of right.
I'm not exaggerating.
Felt like I needed to carry a gun around, but walking around going to San Francisco after Seattle, by the way, is shocking.
Yeah.
It's like absolutely shocking. Yeah. I didn't know how nice Seattle was until I came from Seattle to SF. And I don't remember SF being that bad.
Gotham City. We need Batman. But anyway... Yeah, I don't know. I don't have another bitch calling. When I think about bitch callings, I think about that cop. I mean, that is not how they wrote it in the fucking guidebook, the handbook or whatever, right? What the hell? That was crazy. Walker, I feel like I'm forgetting something else, but yeah, I'll call that Cadillac guy a bitch too. That guy was super gross.
Overall, a great last 2 days.
One of the best experiences Tekken related I've ever had. It was fucking awesome.
Me too.
Yeah.
You heard it. Like 3 of us were there, and all 3 of us have been to so many Tekken events that you don't even bother counting. Over hundreds, I don't even know how many. Every Evo, whatever, and you just heard it. All 3 of us said one of the best Tekken events we've ever been to. So that says it right there. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for now. I'm not sure if any of you guys are going to stream tonight. I'm not sure if I'm going to stream tonight either, but thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll catch you guys later. Take it easy.
Adios.
Boom.